So this is not going to be your normal advice of start waking up early and making your bed, start meditating. That stuff is all good. It's wonderful, it works amazingly. But in my experience, every single time that I've gotten into these rut phases is when my self-image for myself deteriorates. It's when I lose at least it's at some level I lose respect for myself. Maybe because I eat that junk food that I always told you not to eat, right? I always say don't eat sugar, don't eat chocolates. Maybe I eat a chocolate, I lose a little bit of respect for myself right there, right? So in my experience, every single time when you get into a rut, it's when all those small little experiences that where you lose a little bit of respect for yourself, those accumulate, and then finally you've lost so much respect for yourself that you just let yourself go. So it's more psychological than you think. It's more in your head, it's more in your mind than you understand. So start there, why don't you? I think the only way, and I'm honestly telling you this because I've had like probably 100, like at least 100 rut phases in my life, and not even my life, in just the last 2 years, where I've continuously tried to keep myself accountable for while I'm on my self-improvement journey. And every single time when I've gotten into this rut phase is when my self-image has deteriorated for myself. So in my opinion, I genuinely believe this, that the only way to get out of a rut phase is to prove to yourself that you're not that degenerate person. You're not really degenerate, you're not really that goblin that smokes weed, that watches porn and is just partying all day long. No, you're not that degenerate, right? But you are half degenerate. You're not doing all those horrible bad habits that are going to ruin your life. But you're not really you're not really consistently and progressively working towards your goals, are you? Or maybe you are, but you're not really able to achieve any of them. But at least you're setting goals. You're better off than most of the population. But like, come on, you're a superior man than them. You have to compare yourself to now superior men. And among superior men, you're not really top tier right now, are you? Comparing yourself to the right kind of people is also a skill, bro. Because if you keep comparing yourself to the losers, you're always going to feel superior, and you're going to fool yourself into thinking you're something that you're not. That's not a good thing, bro. So in my opinion, the only way that you can get out of this rut phase is to improve your self-image, and here's exactly how I did it. The first sort of mindset shift that I started to incorporate, or I just did subconsciously, was I started to feel a certain level of disgust towards these half degenerate habits. Like, whenever I would find myself scrolling aimlessly and mindlessly on Instagram, on YouTube, I would just be disgusted of myself. And earlier I would just feel a little bit guilty, and then I would just push that thought away and I'll just keep scrolling. But now what I did was, I would feel that disgust, I would acknowledge it, and then I would turn my phone off and I will put it away. When you act in accordance to that disgust, you're actually amplifying its benefits to yourself. So feeling disgust towards these habits, but makes you, in your own mind, you are like, these habits are like beneath you. Like, you're not the guy that scrolls aimlessly and mindlessly on Instagram. You have established that to yourself. And every single time you do that, suddenly the downward spiral is flipped upside down. And now you're accumulating proof of your self-worth to yourself instead of losing respect for yourself. I hope that made sense to you. But that's the number one thing that I think helped me improve my self-image in my own mind, is I started to associate disgust and just disapproval to all of these all of these habits that were not aligned towards my goal, and that was just making me a bad person, that in the moment felt harmless. Obviously, like scrolling for 10 minutes is not gonna, scrolling for 10 minutes a day, it's not gonna affect my goals by that much, right? But the problem is that it doesn't really stay 10 minutes. It's like 10 minutes for one day, and after a week it's like 30 minutes, and after a week it's like 1 hour, and before you know it, you're spending like 5 hours a day on your phone doing absolutely nothing. Think about this. You know that game Clash of Clans? If you're aware, it was an awesome game that I really liked in the moment, but now like a few months back I downloaded it and I felt it felt meaningless to me. And that's because I made my own life into that kind of a game. If you're not aware, that game is when you upgrade a lot of stuff, when you buy a lot of stuff, you battle with different clans and stuff like that. And I could somehow relate to that game, like in my own life. So every single time when I would be scrolling on my phone and I would put the phone away, feeling a little bit of disgust, like this is not who I am, I'll just put the phone away. In my mind, my XP just went up by a little bit. Instead of being level 9, I'm like level 10 now. And that gave me a certain level of validation, and it made me feel good about myself. My self-image just went up. I gamified the process of improving my mental health. Think of how amazing that is. Rewarding yourself for doing good habits, for making good choices, is so immensely powerful, and it's so valuable for you, bro. If you don't trust me, if you don't believe me for any reason, just try this one time. You're craving something, right? You want to eat a particular snack, you want to eat a chocolate bar. Tell yourself that you're not going to eat it this week, instead you're going to eat it next week. And in your mind, just imagine that your level just went up, like boop, 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 boop. Like that sound effect happened, and then your level just went up, right? And you're gonna feel so fucking amazing next week when you eat it, when you're gonna be like, I have self-control. Like I actually have control over my impulses. I'm actually a superior man. And you're gonna feel so much better about yourself. When you detach your self-image from these half-degenerate habits, the rest is easy, bro. When you tell yourself that you're not the person who plays video games all fucking day, becoming the person that instead spends that time working on a business, maybe learning about entrepreneurship, maybe building skills, maybe starting a YouTube channel, doing whatever instead of that degenerate thing, that is easy, bro. Starting a new morning routine, building new habits, learning new skill, building discipline around those habits, that's all easy work. And I say it's easy because all you have to do is take the actionable steps that I've told you about in my past videos. I have videos on building discipline, I have videos on building consistency, conversation skills, confidence, so much. If you just take the actionable steps that I've told you and you don't quit and do that over and over again, you're just going to keep putting new feathers into your hat until eventually your self-image is going to become that person. Like you're the person who wakes up early at 5 a.m. You're the person who does his most important work, the most gruesome, the most boring, and the most hardest part of the work first thing in the morning. You become the person who works the hardest at the gym, who other young men look up to. If you want to become that person, you have to detach your self-image from that half-degenerate self, right? I hope all this made sense to you. If you found this valuable, I have a little questionnaire. I'm currently working on a project in order to help you better, in order to get you more personalized content. If you want to help me out in that, and if you want to get a little bit more clarity about your goals, I recommend you fill that form up right now. It's just 5 simple questions that you have to fill up. Give me as detailed answers as possible, and I promise I will make my content even more valuable than it currently is. and you don't have to give me your contact information. I'm not going to sell you anything. This is not me like trying to catfish you into giving me your email. You can choose whether to give me your email or not. That's completely up to you. I'm building a community of high value men or men who want to become high value. If you think you're one of them, subscribe to my channel right now so my videos can find you more easily and I can help you in your own self-improvement journey by videos just like this every Monday and Thursday. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.